All right, let's talk about money. We tend to think of it as this technical thing, right? All about numbers, spreadsheets, markets. But if we're being really honest with ourselves, for most of us, money isn't experienced technically at all. It's emotional. It's all about how safe we feel, how we judge ourselves, and kind of where we fit in the world. And that brings up this huge question so many of us wrestle with. Why is money so stressful? Even when on paper, everything looks okay. You've got a stable job, maybe some savings, but there's still that little hum of anxiety in the background. Well, it turns out that feeling isn't some personal failing. Nope, it's actually a feature that's baked right into the system we all live in. You see, way before we learn about interest rates or economics, we learn what money feels like. We learn it as a feeling of security or danger, of success or failure, of being part of the group or being left out. And that emotional programming, it starts really early and it runs deep. And this emotional side of money is pretty much universal. Financial anxiety is everywhere, and I mean at all income levels. It's this quiet, constant stress that hints that maybe the problem isn't just about our individual choices, maybe it's about the very structure of money itself. So what is it about that structure that gets us so wound up? Okay, so this brings us to what you could call the anxiety machine. That constant stress we feel, it's not random. It's the direct result of a hidden mechanic, something built right into the foundation of our modern money system. So here's the key fact, the one piece of the puzzle you really need to understand. Almost all the money that exists today is created the moment a bank makes a loan. And of course, every single loan comes with interest. Now, that sounds simple enough, but the consequences, they are massive. This creates something called structural scarcity. Think about it for a second. The banks lend out the main amount, the principal, right? But they don't create the extra money needed to pay back the interest on that principal. So what does that mean? It means that at any given moment, there is always more debt owed in the system than there is actual money to pay it all back. And the unavoidable mathematical result of that is someone somewhere has to come up short. The whole system is basically a giant game of musical chairs, but there's one fewer chair than there are people playing. This built-in insecurity is the engine that keeps that anxiety running for all of us. And this is why enough never really feels like enough, doesn't it? True, lasting security can never fully arrive because the game is designed to be competitive forever. The system doesn't reward just having enough. It rewards being constantly vigilant, always scrambling to get ahead just so you don't fall behind. So all this financial insecurity, it doesn't just stay in our bank accounts. It bleeds into our social lives. Money stops being just a tool we use to buy stuff and becomes this public scorecard for our lives, a marker of our success and ultimately our worth as people. And this leads to what you might call a status addiction. We get trapped in this endless loop of comparing ourselves to others. We feel this deep, gutting shame if we struggle with money. We push ourselves to the brink of burnout, not just to pay the bills, but to protect our very identity. We even get scared to earn less, even if it might actually make us happier. And what this all boils down to is this right here. Money is no longer just a tool we use to navigate life. It becomes a verdict on our life, a layoff, a bad investment. It doesn't just feel like a setback anymore. It can feel like a total collapse, a final judgment on our value as a human being. Whew, okay, so if that's the problem, is there another way out of this? Well, the answer is yes. Let's take a look at a radically different system, something called mutual credit. It's an approach that completely flips the psychological rules of the game. So here's the fundamental shift. Instead of money being this scarce thing created by banks as debt, credit is created by the community members themselves, just for the purpose of trading with each other. When I do a service for you, your account goes down a bit and mine goes up. There's no big bank in the middle. And, this is the crucial part, there's no interest. Now, just look at how this changes the psychology. It's night and day. In the debt-based system we know, security comes from hoarding money because it's scarce. But in mutual credit, security comes from participating in your community. Exchange stops being a zero-sum game, this adversarial thing, and it becomes relational. And where the old system trains us in vigilance and fear, this one trains us in reciprocity and trust. This shift leads to some really profound changes in how we feel. By changing the basic rules of exchange, we can start to create a sense of enoughness and real belonging, instead of just constant, stressful competition. These new experiences literally begin to retrain our nervous systems. In a system like this, asking for help isn't a sign that you failed. It's just a normal part of the community flow. Giving isn't about having power over someone. And maybe most importantly, trust is actually rewarded. It's not seen as a weakness to be exploited. What's really wild is that when money stops being this tool to constantly rank and compare everyone, our very sense of self can start to change. Our identity no longer has to be so wrapped up in our salary or our job title. Which brings up this really personal question for all of us. I mean, think about it. If your financial status wasn't a constant verdict on your life, who would you be? What would you actually value then? Well, in a mutual credit system, value starts to look really different. It's not about how much you've piled up, it's about how you participate. Your value is seen in your reliability, in the trust you build, and how useful you are to others, and honestly, just in your presence within the community. And all of this can lead to this amazing state of enoughness. It's not about having unlimited stuff, it's a feeling. It's psychological sufficiency, that deep, settled sense that you don't have to constantly be proving your worth or defending your spot just to be okay. It's the exact opposite of that vigilance we talked about. When you step back and look at the big picture, it all comes down to this. Our economic systems are constantly training us. Every single money system shapes our behavior. It teaches us what's smart, what's safe, and what we need to do to get by. And this might be the most important takeaway of all. Debt-based money doesn't make us inherently greedy, and mutual credit doesn't magically make us generous. These systems don't change our fundamental human nature. They just change the conditions. They create an environment that encourages certain parts of our nature, like competition or cooperation, to step into the spotlight. So we end on this final thought. We've seen how a system built on debt and scarcity can train us for a life of anxiety and competition, and we've seen how a different kind of system could train us for reciprocity and trust. So the question we're left with isn't just an economic one, it's really an existential one. If our money plays such a huge role in shaping who we are, then who do we really want to become?